Yeah, definitely. But it's necessary. I didn't get COVID, so that's a win. That's always a win. Yep. Cool. I'm all ready. Instant gratification tracks. Instant gratification tracks are individual tracks that are immediately available as part of a pre order for an album. If you purchase an album as a pre order, you may find that some of the tracks are available immediately to download or stream before the album is available. Whew. Awesome. Cool. Shall I pick it up again from instant gratification tracks and do that again and we'll just roll? Mm-hmm. All right, let's do it. Instant gratification tracks. Instant gratification tracks. Instant gratification tracks are individual tracks that are immediately available as part of a pre-order for an album. If you purchase an album as a pre-order, you may find that some of the tracks are available immediately to download or stream before the album is available. Artists can request to make tracks from an upcoming album available as instant gratification tracks by asking their label or distributor. Currently, this can only be done for iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and Deezer. Want to really give your fans an incentive to pre-order your album? You can set up to 49% of the total number of tracks as instant gratification tracks. For instance, a maximum of 5 out of 12 tracks on an album. These tracks can be purchased individually. If someone pre-orders the album, they will also get those tracks instantly. Additionally, when making tracks available for instant gratification in iTunes, they will also be available to stream in Apple Music immediately. Obviously some tweaking there because that was screenshot heavy. Cool. Pre-saves are the new pre-order. Remember when pre-ordering an album from your favorite band meant visiting your local record store and leaving your name and phone number to secure a physical copy? As the robots took over and technology advanced, people started purchasing their music digitally. This prompted the need for pre-orders to move from record stores to online. The benefit of a pre-order on iTunes, for example, was that people could pre-purchase your song, meaning that once the track was released, it would appear in the purchaser's library. The best part for an artist is that all of the pre-orders are counted on day one. This means that all the sales over the weeks leading up to that release are all calculated on release day. This strategy is how many labels and artists have a quote #1 on iTunes on release day, even though the ranking falls in the days that will follow. With iTunes rumored to phase out downloads in the future, it's time to plan ahead. This is where PreSaves come in. A PreSave is usually delivered in the form of a gate. It encourages fans to follow a simple action and in return be one of the first to hear an artist's new single. To set up a PreSave, you will need the Spotify URI or Apple ID of the song. To set up a PreSave, you will need the Spotify URI or Apple ID of the song. These can be received from your distributor, sometimes 4 weeks in advance. Once you have these details, you can create a PreSave gate using one of the services mentioned earlier in this book. Once the song is closer to release, you may be able to paste the URI into Spotify's search bar. You will be able to see the artwork and track title, though you won't be able to play the song until the official release date. Instead, you will see the songs grayed out. This is fine. The save button will still be available to click. Fans can save your song to their Spotify library, meaning that as soon as your song goes live, it is already in their saved section. This makes them feel warm and tingly, knowing they can hear your song first. The other cool thing is that even though the songs are grayed out, users can still drag the song into their favorite playlists. As soon as the song goes live, it will be available. As soon as the song goes live, it will already be in a bunch of your fans' playlists. Bonus tip: in the Spotify desktop app, go to the settings menu and select Show Unavailable Songs in Playlists. This will show you songs that aren't live yet, in other words, grayed out, so you can see if your song has been placed in a playlist before release day. You can also use this as a curator to drag a song into your playlist in the days before it goes live. Go to New Music Friday for another country that is in an earlier time zone than yours, and you will see this in action. The Spotify PreSave, a good idea? Contributed by Jay Gilbert. A Spotify PreSave is the modern equivalent to the pre-order. A Spotify PreSave is the modern equivalent to the pre-order. Spotify doesn't officially offer the ability to pre-save music prior to release, but many platforms and distributors do. Is it a good idea? Yes and no. When it's a good idea, when it is a good idea, is when real fans click the pre-save link. It takes them to a landing page to save your upcoming music. On release day, the music is automatically added to their Spotify music libraries. In theory, this shows Spotify that there are users saving your music and hopefully playing it. When it is not a good idea is when the users are clicking the link and receiving the music on street date, but are not going to listen to it. I'll redo that. When it's not a good idea is when the users are clicking the link and receiving the music on the street date, but aren't actually listening to it. Here's an example of the latter. You create a pre-save link that says, pre-save, and you will automatically be entered into a contest for a signed guitar. Thousands of people enter the competition for a chance to win the guitar. However, on street date, the music is added to their libraries and they don't listen to it. This shows Spotify that at worst, your fans aren't real, and at best, your fans aren't engaged. It's not always about the number of plays, followers, listeners, and playlists, but the right ones. Encourage the right audience to engage and follow you on Spotify, so your new music drops into their Discover Weekly and Release Radar playlists. Don't send anyone to a Spotify. Don't send anyone to Spotify or a PreSave link that won't love your music. Find out more about Jay at label-logic.net. iTunes is still here. iTunes isn't gone. It's just tucked away in the settings menu in the Music app. If you updated your Mac OS and found that iTunes mysteriously disappeared, you can turn it back on by going to the General Settings menu in the If you updated your Mac OS and found that iTunes mysteriously disappeared, you can turn it back on by going to Settings, General, and then checking the box next to iTunes Store. Going Far and Wide, contributed by Jez Ryan. Contributed by Jez Ryan. Often, when I start working on a release campaign with an upcoming artist, I find they have this idea in their minds that they need to focus on their own country, city, or even just their hometown. The idea of pitching their music to a worldwide audience is something they've not even considered at such an early stage of their development. The idea of pitching their music to a worldwide audience is something they've not even considered at The idea of pitching their music to a worldwide audience is something they've not even considered at such an early stage of their development. In my experience, I find it is very important to go far and wide with every release you do, especially for new and upcoming artists. Getting homegrown support is always great, of course, especially when it comes to selling tickets for shows. But why just focus on such a small group of people when you have access to the entire world? Pitching your music to a global market can potentially attract hundreds of thousands of streams on your song. Along with that, you should start to see a solid growth in your audience numbers as well. After a few releases, you will then be able to see which territories are resonating with your music the most. Spotify for Artists is a good tool for this. Those demographics can then be used to better refine your social media campaigns to help maximize click-through rates and streaming results. As your presence grows within the global music scene, you might also start to attract international touring opportunities, which is far more beneficial to your project than just selling tickets at a few venues back home. Redo that. As your presence grows within the global music scene, you might also start to attract international touring opportunities, which is far more beneficial to your project than just selling tickets at a few of your favorite venues back home. With that said, usually as your presence grows on a global scale, it will also grow within your own territories. Before you know it, you might even find yourself being invited to perform at some of the biggest venues in your local areas. Find out more about Jez at acidstag.com and mammalsounds.com. Influencer marketing. Influencer marketing. From a quiet kid with a cool camera who takes great videos to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, influencers can be anyone. An influencer can be someone with a large following, but more importantly, they have a collection of engaged followers who listen to what they have to say. Earlier in this book, you were told to sign up with Instagram. If you have not done this yet, sign up now. I will wait. Here's some homework. Go on Instagram, find some people who share your passion outside of music. If you like video games, search the hashtag video games and find someone with a large following and lots of engagement on their posts. Take the time to follow 20 of these influencers and write meaningful comments on their posts. I don't mean, quote, nice video, I want to play that game, quote. I don't mean, quote, why am I saying quote? I don't mean, nice video, I want to play that game. Be specific. Let's say they posted a video of them playing Grand Theft Auto 5. Comment and say, hey, I just finished the game with Trevor and found it was really tough, but I thought his ending was a much better story than the other two. Do you think he will return in the next GTA? What you've done is show that you have paid attention to their video, made a thoughtful comment, and asked for their opinion. What you've done is shown that you have paid attention to their video, made a thoughtful comment, and asked for their opinion. Now comes the exciting part. Turn on notifications. Now comes the exciting part. Turn on notifications for Instagram and be ready. If they respond to your comment, you're going to get notified because they will tag you in their reply. Then respond immediately when they are active on the app and engaged. Your notification will be bumped to the top. If you are lucky enough to get another response, then ask them if you can send them a quick DM or email because you want to keep chatting and, quote, don't want to get lost in the comments, end quote. Once you are in the DM, don't talk about yourself. Just keep engaging them and asking great questions. This is developing the relationship. If you play it cool, you may find they follow you back, which is why it's important to never be fake in your social media profiles as well. After they follow you back, it's time to ask them a little more about themselves, such as, how long have you been a gamer? Or, do you have any other hobbies you enjoy? Once they respond, you will likely get a response followed by, how about yourself? Now this is when you tell them in 2 sentences what you are about. One example is, avid gamer from California, loved Nintendo, but now I'm all about PS5. I also make electronic music and dream to have a song featured in a video game. That works. Once you've let them know that you also create music, you've given them the opportunity to respond if they are interested. Now, be careful. It's still possible to scare them off. If they ask to hear some of your music, don't send them multiple links and DMs. Breathe and pick your best song that represents your sound. Tell them a little about the track you send them so they know what to prepare for. One example is, it's a deep electronic chill track that reminds me of driving home after a long day. Now leave them to listen. If they haven't, now leave them to listen. If you haven't heard from them, but see they have posted new content online, it would be good to comment on the next post without mentioning your music. There is a good chance that if you give them enough time and then follow up, for example, 2 weeks, they will think you are chill and be more likely to respond. If they show any interest in your music, here's the cool part. Tell them that you would be happy to send them a copy of your song to use for free in any of their videos. This also means that you now have a chance to get your music in front of their audience. If they bite, be sure to send links to your social media with an easy download link. For example, Dropbox or Google Drive. If they bite, be sure to send links to your social media with an easy download link. For example, Dropbox or Google Drive. This gives them everything they need. You would most likely see your artist and song title in the video description If they include your music in a video or post, you will most likely see your artist and song title in the description, as well as perhaps a tag in the comments and a link to your socials, which is once again why short links are important, because Instagram does not allow clickable links in posts. And skipping that next section about people only see the text version, jumping to experiences. Experiences, contributed by Jay Gilbert. A great new revenue stream has emerged, ignited by services like Cameo, Frills, Patreon, Twitch, and OnlyFans. Making a sustainable career from solely music sales, streams, and downloads may not be a smart strategy today. Streaming is not the enemy, but a stream isn't monetarily worth the same as a download. A download isn't worth the same as a CD, and a CD isn't worth the same as a vinyl LP. Sync licensing, touring, and merch can also generate significant revenue, but so can experiences. What are experiences? Here's some examples. Paid meet and greets, personal audio and video messages, exclusive access, recording and writing with your favorite artist, house concerts, personalized and signed merch and handwritten lyrics. There's tons of potential here. During the pandemic, the Accidentals offered hand-knitted scarves and D&D sessions. The Licorice Quartet still offer music lessons, writing sessions, and even record shopping and dinner with the band. Get creative, offer your fans something no one else can. Find out more about Jay at label-logic.net. Is it a good playlist? With so much focus and energy put towards getting on a playlist, there's also an ongoing concern about whether a playlist is actually going to help or hinder an artist. Here's a couple of ways to see if a playlist is delivering listeners. Please note that there is no way of knowing who these listeners are, so this information is best to be treated as general information. Spotify Discovered On. Go to an artist profile and scroll down to the Discovered On section. This will show the playlists that are delivering the highest number of listeners. It will not show the number of listeners, but this is a good guide on which playlists are delivering the most listeners for that artist. If you click See All, you can currently see up to the top 50 playlists delivering monthly listeners on Spotify. This is available in the web app by going to open.spotify.com in your web browser and looking at an artist profile, then scrolling down to the Discovered On section. Deezer playlists section. Deezer shows up. Deezer playlists section. Deezer shows up to the top 100 playlists that are delivering listeners for an artist. For example, popular EDM artist Marshmello has a large number of playlist ads on Deezer. The top 100 can be seen by going to his artist profile and looking at the playlists section. isitagoodplaylist.com. Here's a really helpful tool. You can paste in the link to any Spotify playlist and it will cross-reference both the songs featured on the playlist with the artists discovered on... Okay. Here's a really helpful tool. isitagoodplaylist.com. You can paste in the link to any Spotify playlist and it will cross-reference both the songs featured in the playlist with the artist discovered on analytics to determine how well a playlist is delivering. It's free and doesn't require any account creation. check your stats. If you have been added to a playlist, you will be able to see streams and listeners for that playlist by logging into your artist tools. For example, Apple Music for Artists or Spotify for Artists. This is a great way to see how much that playlist is driving listeners and streams. Is the playlist well curated? Listen to the playlist first. Do you enjoy listening? Is it well curated and something you would let play, or is it so poorly curated that you want to skip? If you don't find enjoyment from the playlist, it is safe to say others may not either. Curators, you may think that by placing someone's song on your playlist, you are helping them, but that may not. Yeah. Curators, you may think that by placing someone's song on your playlist, you are helping them, but that may not always be the case. If you have a chilled out study beats playlist and you put an upbeat electronic song in the middle of that playlist, you may get some listeners for that artist, but most listeners may skip that song. This will impact both that artist and related artists. It can actually hurt the artist long term. And yes, I meant to say artists, not others, that's written in the book there. Cool. Let me see if this is going to work if I read it. Twitter follow hack. Simply follow. Here's how to do this. Take the URL, add it. Oh my gosh. When people click it. I'm going to axe this Twitter follower hack chapter because it's not going to work in the audiobook version. Page 206 is gone. And actually the same for the YouTube follower hack. These only work if there's like a visual and people can copy the full URL. So we will skip that one as well. Okay, we're up to page 208, the Facebook birthday post, and I'll start from here. The Facebook birthday post. I can't take credit for being the first to think of this, but it's too brilliant not to share. This can be applied to promote a playlist, new song, or to get some follows on a new artist profile. If you have a birthday coming up on Facebook, by the way, don't be cheeky and change it, but you can follow these steps. Go to privacy settings, timeline, and tagging, and change who can post on my timeline. Go to privacy settings, then timeline, then tagging, and change who can post on your timeline to only me. Post a new profile photo with a great shot of yourself. In the photo description, mention how amazing it would be if everyone followed your new playlist, saved your new single, or followed your artist profile. People will be notified of your birthday a few days in advance, so post early. Remember that some of your friends may be located elsewhere in the world in different time zones. On the day of, Facebook will notify all of your friends that it is your birthday. When they go to post on your wall, there will be no option to do a new post, so they will comment on your most recent post. In this case, it will be your new profile photo. All of these comments and likes on your new photo will generate high engagement with your post, meaning it will appear in more of your friends' news feeds. Keep in mind that your Facebook profile is about you, a real person, so try to include a story with the photo to make it more interesting. For example, you could use a photo of you on a hike with the description, "Feeling on top of the world here at the mountain, and super excited now to have my music on Spotify. Follow me here," and then include a link. If you are feeling extra clever, you can also use a short link. Keep selling CDs. CDs are an additional revenue stream. I compare it to the feeling of going into a okay. CDs are an additional revenue stream. I compare it to the feeling of going into a store and buying a product. It makes you feel good. Fans like me go to a show or buy CDs for this reason. They may never listen to or even unwrap the CD, but the purchase part of the process felt good knowing that the money went to the artist. What usually happens next is the fan gets in their car and then starts streaming the very same app. What usually happens next is the fan gets in their car and then starts streaming that very same album via a streaming service. The artist now has revenue from the CD sale, let's say $5 profit per CD, as well as from the streaming service. I definitely don't recommend just handing out CDs for free to everyone you meet, as it can cause people to not see value in your music. If someone pays for something, even just a few dollars, they are more likely to make time to listen or at least keep it in their car, on their bookshelf, etc. That CD may one day be passed on to a friend with a "listen to this" comment. That's word of mouth marketing. Want to increase the value of your CD? Make sure you sign it for the fan. If there is a personal message with their name on it, it is safe to assume they will keep it around. They may even take a photo and share it on social media. When looking at CD manufacturers, keep in mind that size matters. If you use full-size jewel cases for your CDs, the price of postage. When looking at CD manufacturers, keep in mind that size matters. If you use full-size jewel cases for your CDs, the price of postage will increase. There's also the risk of the case being cracked during transit, and it doesn't really fit into a jacket pocket or purse as easily. I suggest looking at thin cardboard sleeves. Some distributors call these eco packs, which, as the name suggests, are also good for the environment. Fans will be more likely to purchase these if they easily fit in their pocket. Say thank you. This may sound like an odd thing to mention. But always say thank you. It takes less than 1 second to say. And can be the difference between someone feeling happy with their decision to support you or feel like they were not important enough. Wow. This may seem like an odd thing to mention, but always say thank you. It takes less than 1 second to say, and can be the It takes less than 1 second to say, and can be the difference between someone feeling happy with their decision to support you or feel like they were not important enough to be thanked and their support was not valued. You will most likely not hear from them again if this is the case. If someone really helps you early in your career, don't ever forget them. Find a way to thank them. I have a friend who runs a large independent playlist network. He helped me immensely, both through supporting my music and with advice when it came to building my own playlists. It started as a thank you, then led to me booking a flight where he was speaking at a conference in another city. I shouted him a few beers. Shouting means buying in Australia. Years later, and now we are good friends and still share music and tips. That man's name is Carlos, and he is the founder of Indie Mono, one of the largest independent playlist brands on Spotify with over 4 million followers across all of their playlists. So, always say thank you. Remember those who supported you from the start. You never know where they may be in a few years' time. If one of you grows, you both grow. That and being grateful should hopefully come naturally. Here's some suggestions for different ways to say thank you. Share the playlist as your artist pick on your Spotify profile. Tweet and tag the curator, telling everyone to go and check out their playlist. Post a brief video of you in the studio thanking the curator for adding your song. Bonus tip: if you take a screenshot of a curator's playlist, be sure to click follow first so it shows that you are following and listening to their playlist. This makes the thank you more genuine and will likely receive a more positive response from the curator. Oh boy, here we are, Sue. Arrest chin, Sue. Arrest your chin, arrest chin. I've got it. Dr. Sue Orestchin. I'm not going to say the FRSA part. She's fine with me not including that. So, The Power of Community, contributed by Dr. Sue Orestchin. What you do is not done in isolation. Community is both important and powerful. You can create one around what you do and also tapping into existing ones. You can develop a fan community and also an artist and/or playlist community. A supportive community is also good for your mental health, especially in an industry where critique and rejection are inevitable from time to time. It can, however, be difficult to build your own from scratch. Fortunately, there are an increasing number of mutually supportive music communities, locally and on social media platforms, that can be tapped into. These communities are often very welcoming to newcomers. If they are online, they may include you not just If they are online, they may not... Shit, I'm making up words. If they are online, they may include not just playlist creators and artists, but also radio or YouTube presenters, bloggers, independent record labels and promoters, etc. Online music communities tend to grow organically, so it's good to watch out for them and join those that appear suitable, welcoming, supportive, and fun. It's a great way to get to know others in the music industry and tap into the experience and knowledge of others. For example, on Twitter, artists can be found supporting fellow artists by sharing new music across fan bases, sharing playlists and useful information, etc. Online communities are also often connected to physical communities. No. Online communities are also often connected to physical communities. So while joining one may result in a wider fan base, DSP playlist placements, radio show plays, reviews, etc., it can also lead to invitations to play live at gigs. Find out more about Sue at grassrootsmusicnetwork.org. Sue. Find more curators. Find more curators. Now that you are starting to make some strong connections with curators, the next step is to find ways to connect with others. Now that you are starting to make some strong connections with curators, the next step is to find ways to connect with others through them. Sometimes it is as simple as asking nicely. Sometimes it is as simple as asking nicely. With these examples, it is important to put your own touch on the conversations and emails. Ask for an introduction. Once you have built rapport and have a curator that you speak with a few times per month, it's okay to ask them the following question. I've even got an example here for you. Hi, name. It's been a pleasure sharing music with you these last few months, and I'm so happy to be able to support your music as well. I was wondering if you have any other contacts that would be interested in a similar type of Hi, name. It's been a pleasure sharing music with you these last few months, and I'm so happy to be able to support your music as well. I was wondering if you have any other contacts that would be interested in a similar type of arrangement. I'd be happy to introduce you to some of my contacts in return, as I am sure we can help each other through facilitated introductions. I'd be happy to introduce you to some of my contacts in return, as I am sure we can help each other through facilitated introductions. In this email, I have explained why I am asking for other contacts, because I know the value of a larger network, while also offering an introduction to my contacts, which is something of return in value. In this email, I have explained why I am asking for other contacts, while also offering an introduction to my contacts, giving something of return. In this email, I have explained why I am asking for other contacts, while also offering an introduction to my contacts, giving something of value in return. If you are asked to introduce one of your contacts, ask them directly first to make sure they are okay with this. You don't want to upset your existing contacts who are already happily sharing music with you. You don't want to upset your existing contacts who are already happily sharing music with you. What if a curator leaves their job? If you have developed a relationship with a curator and they have advised you that they are leaving, If you have developed a relationship with a curator and they have advised that they are leaving their job, you should follow these steps. Make yourself aware of the circumstances. If they are leaving their record label job to pursue their music career, you can assume they are leaving on good terms. Wish them all the best and ask if you can keep in touch, as you'd love to hear about their next moves. You never know. They could move on to a bigger role in a similar company, and you'll be glad they gave you their personal email or phone number. Once they have acknowledged your well wishes and shown they are happy to keep in touch, you can ask. Once they have acknowledged your well wishes and shown they are happy to keep in touch, you can ask them if it's possible to be introduced to their successor, as you would like to. You can ask them if it's possible to be introduced to their successor, as you would love to continue sharing music with them as well. There is nothing more valuable than a personal introduction, especially when it is from the previous staff member. It's like meeting a friend of a friend. There is instantly a level of comfort and trust involved. It's on you to build it from there. Bonus tip. When engagement with a contact is at its peak, or after you have exchanged more than a couple of nice emails, it is a good time to connect on LinkedIn. A connection request on LinkedIn is far less invasive and more accepted in the early stage of a new relationship with a curator. The best part about requesting a new connection on LinkedIn is that you will get notified if they move on to another role or get promoted. The platform is also a great way to continue reaching them via messaging. Out-of-office responses. This is the next best thing to an introduction. Let's say you email your playlist curator at record label X and you receive an out-of-office response. There's little chance they are going to reply or place your song, but there is a very high chance they will include an alternative contact to reach out to in their absence. This is the perfect time to do a self-introduction. Here's an example of how I would reach out. Please reword this yourself before sending. Hello, name. I usually share new music with John, and I know that he is currently on holiday in Hawaii, which I am extremely jealous of. I was told that you may be the best person to contact in his absence and wanted to reach out as I have new music to share if possible. If you are not the best contact for this, can you please point me towards them and I will be sure to spare your inbox from my musical pitches. All the best, Mike. It's important that I know John and well enough to know that he is on holiday in Hawaii. This will likely cause the recipient to keep reading. I didn't pitch in the email. I asked for permission, which is very important because if this email goes to the wrong person and there is a bunch of song links, they are likely to just move it to the I don't have time for this basket. Lastly, I gave them an opportunity to push me towards someone else, another contact, maybe a better contact for what I am looking for. If they respond positively, hit them with your song pitch and use a little charm. If all goes well, you may just have another contact at that record label. If they respond with another contact, you should reach out to them following the process again and explaining how you were connected. Work hard, podcast hard. Work hard, podcast hard. It's not uncommon for artists to also have a podcast. Some of us use it as a way to show other passions. Whatever your reason, I wanted to share this quick summary of where you can go to make sure your podcast is available in as many places as possible. Listeners will use their app or service of choice, so don't miss out on potential. Listeners will use their app or service of choice, so don't miss out on potential listeners thinking you need to be exclusive to one platform. Unless someone offers you a highly lucrative deal to provide a podcast exclusively, there's no need to only use one. Unless someone offers you a highly lucrative deal to provide a podcast exclusively, there's no need to use only one provider. I submitted my podcast to all of these services successfully, and, shameless plug, you can check it out at workhardplaylisthard.com by clicking on the podcast icon. Podcast platforms I was able to submit to include Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Deezer, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, JioSaavn, Pandora, Radio Public, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. A full list of all of these services with submission links can be found at workhardplaylisthard.com. Distribution. I use Anchor to distribute my podcast. They do a great job, but I found that by grabbing the RSS feed from Anchor in the settings menu, I was able to add my podcast to the above services. I use Anchor to distribute my podcast. They do a great job, but I found that by grabbing the RSS feed from Anchor in the settings menu, I was able to add my podcast to the above services. This makes my program reachable to an even wider audience, which is important to getting my message out and increasing the reach for my guests. There are also numerous other paid and free podcast services. Anchor was the right fit for me, but always do your own research and find the best solution for you. Social media posts. I use Headliner to create audiograms, which are social media ready visualizers with images with I use Headliner to create audiograms, which are social media ready visualizers with images and transcriptions of the speech alongside a synced waveform. Headliner has a free option which I found more than sufficient. I then upload these visualizers to my Facebook page, Instagram, and YouTube channels. Ooh, we're getting close, I can feel it. Come on, Jay, give me an easy one, buddy. The most controversial one is always the last one. Here we go. Oh, fuck. Payola. That should have been the title. Okay, I'm ready. Payola versus Playola, contributed by Jay Gilbert. Payola, holy shit, that was loud. Payola versus Playola. Let's not mince words. Both are simply wrong and bad for the music industry. One is illegal. One is illegal. Payola is the act of paying for radio airplay without disclosing that the play was for pay. It's against US federal law. US airwaves are publicly owned and regulated by the FCC. Playola is the act of paying for placement in playlists in digital service providers like Spotify and Apple Music. While this may be unethical and is certainly against DSP terms of service, it is not illegal yet. DSP playlists can be broken down into two groups, user-curated and DSP-curated. If I create a playlist, it is user-curated. If Spotify creates a playlist, it's DSP-curated. There are also commercial services, as mentioned earlier in this book, that have networks of other users who will listen to submissions, give feedback, and sometimes even add songs to their playlists. This is not considered payola, as they are being compensated for their feedback and playlist ads are not guaranteed. While everyone likes a quick win, please do your research. Follow the tips in this book to give your music the best chance to shine, both long and short term. Find out more about Jay at label-logic.net. Right. Final thoughts. This book has been a long time coming. I really wanted to share everything I wish I knew when I started out. I hope it's helped you. The industry is changing constantly, and I'm always learning. Work Hard, Playlist Hard will continue to be updated and revised, and I will continue to share even more knowledge in the future. Since the first released Okay, I'm going to leave out the sentence that the book has been updated countless times because that doesn't make sense when this is the first audiobook version. Just leaving a note in there. Since the first release in 2018, a lot has changed in the music streaming world. A lot has changed for me as well. This book has opened up doors for me to participate in conference panels, host live workshops, appear on various podcasts, and even appear in my first live TV interview on CNBC with John Fort. None of this would have been possible if it wasn't for the amazing support I have received. Whether it was a tweet, email, or even just telling a friend, thank you. I feel a huge level of responsibility to make sure I continue delivering current and reliable information to help further your career. The music industry is an ever-evolving landscape. As this is now the second edition of the book, please don't hold back if there is something you would like me to add, expand, or update in a future edition. In the meantime, go out there, keep creating, keep learning, and keep sharing. Thank you for listening. Mike Warner. And I'll read the credits as well. I think that's fair. I should do that. And then I've got a thank you chapter as well. Cool. Okay. What have I got? Any weird names? Ronya, Kauri. Actually, no, that was the first edition. It's a matter. Cover art, yes. Words. Okay, I got this. Ready. Credits. Second edition edited by Erica Young. Cover art created by Spectator Jones. Written by and narrated by Mike Warner. Guest contributors in alphabetical order. Andy Connors, Ariel Hyatt, Bree Noble, Cheryl B. Englehart, Chris Robley, Jay Gilbert, Yari Kirker, Jez Ryan, Karen Allen, Kelly Lee, Luke, Mark Tavern, Nick Dietrich, Nina Las Vegas, Ryden, Spectator Jones, Sue Oristchin, Troy Carter Jr., and Uberjacked. All right, holy shit. Last page. We're going to do this. We're going to do the thank yous. Oh, man. I should probably be shouting you guys out in here too. I mean, I genuinely want to. Yeah. I don't want to fuck up and say the wrong name. It's Studio West, right? Studio West of San Diego, California. All right. Actually, I'll include that in the credits as well. I want to. I don't have to, but yeah. So this section is going under credits after guest contributors. This audiobook was recorded and produced at Studio West in San Diego, California. Yeah, no, it's hopefully it makes all those extra markers in there worth it. Okay, let me see here. Thank you. This book would not be possible without the support, patience, love, and encouragement I've received from so many of you. To my beautiful wife, my parents, my sister, family, friends, colleagues, artists, pets, and everyone I've had the pleasure of connecting with, thank you from the bottom of my heart. To think that this book almost never happened is scary. Self-doubt is real, and so is imposter syndrome. Yet here we are, bigger and better. Thank you for listening to this book or picking up a physical copy. Investing in yourself and sharing what you've learned to help others. You are appreciated. Thank you, Erica, for being the glue that helped keep Work Hard, Playlist Hard together when I needed to take some time offline in early 2020. It would not exist without your encouragement, dedication, and spirit. You are so greatly appreciated and go above and beyond. Thanks to all of the contributors that shared their time, knowledge, and feedback. This book is going to help a lot of people. It wouldn't be the same without your contributions. Thanks to all of the fantastic people that booked me to speak, welcomed me. Thanks to all of the fantastic people that booked me to speak, welcomed me. Oh my gosh. Thanks to all the fantastic people that booked me to speak, welcomed me into their office, classroom, computer screen, TV screen, bookstore, and conference rooms. There are so many more to thank that I would need to extend this book. I'll be sure to do it directly. I think I need to end. I need to just say something else in that last sentence there, because otherwise it just ends with the word directly, which is kind of rough. My name is Mike Warner, and thank you so much for listening to Work Hard, Playlist Hard, the second edition. Woo! We did it! Woo! Where's the beers? No, I'm kidding. The studio beers are always the most questionable, as how long have they been kicking around? Did a band bring them 5 years ago and no one likes triple IPAs or something? Oh, nice. Wow. Yeah. Hey, this is going to sound like a really random request, but seeing as I'm in here and you've got all those cool boards in front of you, is there any way we could get a photo? One. I want to get one with all of you guys as well, but just of the boards with me in here. One of those hero shots, as they say, for social media. I'll pretend I'm still reading. Cool. This is all real, by the way, for anyone that's watching at home. Oh, nice. Make sure I have good posture or I'll get cussed out for sitting bad. The worst thing you can do is say, act natural, because then people will go, how do I do that? Nice. Awesome. All right. I'm going to mask up and come on in.
Now it's time for the after party.
Yep. Oh.
Holy shit, you're still watching?